Okay, let's begin with the notes for 2C, finding a missing angle. So in the last lesson, we showed you kind of the formula or the equation on how to find a missing side. Today we're going to find a missing angle. So a couple of things to go over before I actually show you how to set it up is one, when we look at trig and the ratios and how they're all related to the angle and the ratios, one way that you can find those is to use a trig chart. Now I have not included the whole one, but they're fairly easy to find online. It goes from the angles of 1 through 89, keeps on going here. There's a column for sine, for cosine, and for tangent. So for each of these angles, acute angles, there is a decimal form of the ratio that is associated with each of these three. So I just am showing you this just so you can get a visual of where these numbers are coming from. So if I have a decimal form, if I've done my ratio or my fraction, and I have got this decimal of 0.4848, and it is the cosine, to find this angle A, I'm going to look under the cosine column until I get to 0.4848. So cosine, okay, you can see it right here, 0.4848, and that is associated with 61 degrees. So angle A for that problem would be 61 degrees. Do the same thing to find angle B. We're finding the measure of angle B. The sine of it is 0.2079. So look under the sine. Now this says A, that's just a generic way of saying any angle. So the sine of an angle is 0.2079. Okay, so that is 12 degrees. Tan, now this little symbol here is called a theta, and it's spelled this way, theta. And it's kind of a universal way that we show an angle. If it's just a generic angle, we just use a theta symbol. So they're saying the tan of some angle is 0.1228. So look under tan. We need to look under tan, 0.1228. Go over here. The angle is 7 degrees. So that's how you find it if you know the decimal form already. If I know the ratio, such as this, that's pretty easy to find the decimal. 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. So under cosine, I look for 0.5. Cosine, I look for 0.5. And it's right here. That's going to be 60 degrees for that angle. The sine of some angle is the ratio 2 to 9, which if I divide that out, I get 0.2222. All right, so I'm going to look for under sine. I'm going to look for 0.2222. Now you'll see that there is no exact 0.2222. Okay, so when it's between those two, we're just going to always round to the nearest degree. So we're going to say it's either 12 degrees or it's 13 degrees. I'd say it's probably closer to this one, that's 13 degrees. I'll give a little leeway on some of that. When I show you how to use it on the calculator, there shouldn't be any problem. And then 9 divided by 7 is 1.2222. I apologize, that is not correct. It is 1.2857. Okay, so we're going to look for this one under the tan column, or the closest one to it. So here's tan, 1.28, so it's pretty close to this one, so that's going to be 52 degrees. So that's how you would do it if you're using the table or the chart. However, we're going to come down here and we're going to actually use our calculator. So the calculator has done all the searching on the table for us. So to find a missing angle, we have to reverse what we did with the missing side. Okay, and the reverse, or sometimes they call it the inverse, is where we take the same trig function, in this case tan, to the -1. That's called the inverse of tan. Okay, and we use that button, or that function on our calculator to help us find a missing angle. So if I have a setup like this, where it's tan of some angle equals this decimal, okay, I'm not going to put tan in because I don't want the tan. I want the angle. So I'm going to use inverse tan. So here's the buttons that I push to do that on my calculator. So I'm going to push second and then tan. And you should see this on your screen where it says tan to the -1. Then I'm going to enter this decimal, 0.8889, and push equals. Now that is how many degrees it is. So we're going to round to the nearest degree. So it's either going to be 41 or 42. This would round up to 42 degrees. It's a little bit easier on the calculator than it is to look it up on the chart. Okay, so we're going to use the inverse. This one is cosine. We're going to find an angle whose ratio is 11 divided by 14, or 11 over 14. So again, I'm going to clear it out. I'm going to push second, and then my cosine. There's my inverse. Then I'm going to let the calculator do the division for me. So I don't even need to divide it out to get my decimal. The calculator will use this division, 11 divided by 14, to find the decimal form and find the angle that would be closest to it. So this angle would be 38 degrees. Same thing on this one, the inverse of sine. To find this missing angle, the ratio of the sides. So I'm going to push second and then sine. Again, this is the form, or this is what it should look like on the calculator if you are finding a missing angle. And the ratio was 36 over 38. Okay, so again, I'm going to round that to the nearest degree. This would be 71 degrees. Okay, so let's stop there for now, and we'll go to part B.